Hi guys, and welcome along. My name is Dan Wheel, or Shaggy if you're from the American football community, you'll probably know me better as. I'm a 10-year veteran of the game. First started the Chargers, first year president, and then played for Mavs the last few years. Now thankfully retired from the game, but still here to hopefully talk it through with you guys.
Yeah, I'm Sonny, former Kent Falcon, played for 3 years. Left the team last year when I graduated. Played defensive tackle for 3 years, and my last year ended up playing offensive line at the same time. Was a team captain last year, and like Dan just said, hopefully we'll take you through some great action and keep you guys up to date with what's going on.
Yeah, how's it going? Are you guys okay?
Yeah, all good. Yeah.
Good, yeah.
Are you excited for today's match?
Yeah, it should be fun. I mean, Dan's played in probably more games against the Falcons than I played against the Chargers, but I know that regardless of situation for both teams, it's always a tough game. We played a game in Varsity a couple of years ago where the Chargers are in division below us, and it's still difficult. It's never been easy.
I mean, it's definitely one. I mean, obviously, we are here for Varsity. It's the biggest thing in Canterbury. Everyone loves playing in a Varsity game. You up your level, no matter what division you're in, whatever team you're playing from the other side, you're always going to bring your A game today. But both teams are playing for playoff spots in the actual league, so there's a double meaning to today's game. So if Kent win, I think they're pretty much guaranteed playoff football, and Christchurch basically have to win to stay in the hunt to go post-season. So.
Yeah, to go with that, I mean, Kent have been playing very well this year. I mean, they're 5-0. They've got, 3 shutouts on the season. But again, like I said, 5-0, the Chargers are 2-3, and like we said, the Falcons are 5-0, had 3 shutouts, and against the Chargers, won by 1 touchdown. If that, it's less than a touchdown in the end. So
3 points in the end.
3 points in the end. Yeah. So it has
16-12 round, so.
Yeah, so it's always going to be a tough game between the two teams. Both teams have to play with a lot of heart. It's nothing easy coming in this game.
So for anyone who doesn't understand the rules of American football, could you explain to our viewers?
Anyone who plays or seen rugby league, it's a little bit like that. So you basically get four goes with the ball. You have to move it 10 yards. If you get it past that 10-yard point, you get another 4 goes. And then if you do that all the way to the end zone, you score a touchdown. You get 6 points, and you get the chance to either kick for 1 extra point, or you can have a go, pass or run the ball into the end zone again for 2 points. And then also...
in terms of time, I mean, it can be a long game. We know that we sit here for 3 hours and watch, but in truth, it's only 4 15-minute quarters. The game stops quite a lot, but like I said, it's one of those things. That's about the basis. That's probably what you need to know to be able to follow along today.
And what would be like an exceptional win, like a score?
In terms of a high score, you're talking, Kent won a game 46-0 this season. 42
against Imperial earlier on, yeah.
That's probably about it. I know recently, there have been games where it's been up to 100 points, but I know recently the BAFA changed their rules so that if you're 35 points up in the second half, the clock runs to stop something like that happening.
Anything over probably 3 or 4, it'd be like in any other sport, sort of like football, like English football. If you're winning by 4 or 5 scores, that's definitely you're having a good day. It's a good Sunday out for your team. Anything below that is a tight game, really. If it's although it's 7 points for a touchdown and a converted extra point, 7 points is only 1 score. So if you can keep it within 7 points, you're doing well. You're always in with the shout to come back. So.
Yeah, I think we both know from playing. There's been games where I played games in the senior league where I've been up 21-0 and I thought, this game is over. And we ended up losing in the second half. So, as well as I do, 3 scores is nothing in this league, in any version of American football, really.
Yeah, exactly.
And what does it take to really succeed at this game?
I would say, firstly, just the drive. You have to be willing to take hits and move forward. I mean, there's nothing comes easy in this game. Regardless of what position you play, you have to always be willing to grind to get ahead. It doesn't matter if you think you're the fastest person, the strongest person out there, you always find that it turns out there's someone stronger or faster than what you think you are.
I'd echo that. It's a lot of dedication. Football's one of those sports. You can go out and train 3 times a week on the field, but it's the time you're putting in the gym. If you're prepared to put it in there, that's when it will come on a Sunday in a game situation, especially fourth quarter of a game when everyone's tired, everyone just really wants to just get it over and done with. That's when it starts to sort of pay off your hard work. So
yeah, especially as well toughness. Like we had this conversation beforehand, where a lot of people play our sport at a new level, and they think because we wear padding, the game doesn't hurt as much. They think that because we've got padding on, we're all safe. But like Dan said earlier, he's suffered injury. I managed to break my arm in pre-season training before, just because the padding's only there to basically protect our internal organs. But there is high speed contact. It does hurt quite a lot from time to time, to be honest.
Does that discourage you? Like, that it hurts?
Would you?
I mean, I've always been coached is to beat the hammer, not the nail. If you try and hit the guy harder than he's going to hit you, 9 times out of 10 he's going to be one that's going to come away from it worse off. It's a sport where if you back out of it, you're going to get hurt. And if you're in that situation where you are backing out of hits and stuff, you probably shouldn't be on the field because you will eventually get hurt.
Yeah,
so.
like you said, it's always the person that goes in the softest ends up getting hurt. So if you run at full speed and put 100% in, more often than not, the forces tend to balance out. And you tend to be all right. You know what I mean? Like you get hit and you lay on the floor and you do your what I call the body check, where you check all your limbs and your fingers and you go, you know what? I can do that again.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, you get up and do it again.
That's so opposite. I'd be so scared, literally. What are some things to like avoid, like during, to not make mistakes during this game?
I think you have to take take the game play by play, and you're always going to make a mistake. It's 60 minutes of football is a long time. So if you make a mistake, you've just got to put it to the back of your mind and go out next play. There's always somewhere you're going to make it up, and there's always going to be somewhere you're going to sort of have to improve on, and you just have to basically work it out play by play, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say that. And in terms of you kind of get highs and lows in football. Like I said, 3 hours, 60 minutes on the field, 3 hours, you get high and you get low, you get really excited. I think it's important to try and keep one level. Like keeping that level headedness will keep you in the game. Like we've all, like I said, we've all made mistakes. All plays where we've cost our team touchdowns or we've cost our team a score. And it's important to make sure you don't get too down on yourself. You have to make sure you can keep going within that same frame. Like I said, you make a mistake, just let it go. The play is done. You have to tee up and play the next play. So it's almost impossible to avoid mistakes. Really, you just have to accept each play as it comes.
And what attracted you both to American football?
I've been brought up with a lot of American sports. My father used to watch a lot at home. He used to be in North America a lot when he was younger, before I came on the scene. So I've just grown up with it at home, and I just loved it from the start. When I moved to Canterbury, sort of nearly 10, 15 years ago, the Mavericks, the local team, I went to one of their rookie tryout days, and from there I've just loved it from the start. So.
Yeah, I mean, mine's a little bit different. I remember being younger and we had a Nintendo 64 in my house. We had NFL Quarterback Club 64, and me and my brother were playing it. And I think since then we've kind of become infatuated with it. In terms of my start in the game, I think I was too young to play at the time, but London Blitz had just moved to Finsbury Park, so my brother started playing for the youth team, and they just let me join in the training sessions and get along with all their fitness stuff. So since then I've kind of been infatuated, and I suffered an injury, man, to go play basketball for a while, but as soon as I come to uni, I couldn't wait to get back into playing this game. So yeah, it's been a long, like I said, like Dan here, a long association with.
And why should people go our teams tonight?
For us, for the Falcons, we're 5-0. I mean, like you said, if we win this game, it seals the playoffs. What for us, more or less? 6-0, you're home and host for the playoffs. And quite frankly, it's one of the most exciting games I've ever been a part of. I could never wait to. I've always wanted to play Varsity. I always wanted to be on the field in Varsity. And you'll see probably some of the most high-speed collisions you'll see in British football in a Varsity game, especially one like today.
I say it's exactly that. It's Varsity. If you need a reason to not go watch a Varsity game, then there's something wrong. This is the best that you can get in university sort of situations of sport. This doesn't get better than that. So
yeah, you'll see two teams really scrapping at it as well. Like you said earlier, the playoff implications are probably just as important as Varsity to the two teams.
I mean, that's it. I mean, the Varsity win and the point is there. Go support them for that, but support the teams. They are your university sports team, so you should be out there. Even if you don't know the sport, go and learn it. Someone will be there on the sidelines to teach you it. So just go and watch and enjoy it, and watch two teams sort of playing for their future hopes, but also playing for the varsity win.
Yeah. Oh, I've just been told that we're having trouble going live right now, but we're going to try and bring you the broadcast soon, so we're going to talk a bit more. So what's it like to compete at Varsity itself?
I don't know how it was at Christchurch, but for us at American, we don't tend to get too much attention. We sort of play our sport in the back, away from everyone else. We kind of have always existed, but because again, not many people know how to watch American football, understand American football, we kind of just exist within our own society. But at Varsity, it's the one time we get to be in the spotlight, and that's what makes you really want to be there. You really want to turn up for the people watching. Like the extra buzz around the game makes it so much more exciting.
I mean, for me, I started when I first started uni, I was playing hockey, and first team hockey was massive at Christchurch. We used to have a couple of international players. So to come up the hill and play at Varsity in front of several hundred people was an absolutely insane experience. So it's just, you get to do what you do every sort of Sunday or Wednesday in front of hundreds of people, some of whom don't know what's going on, and it's just that experience of being able to just go out and do what you do best in front of people that probably might even wake up on Monday and go, I want to try that, and come to your next training session. So it is just that, being able to get your sport in the limelight in front of both universities, and hopefully,
yeah, honestly, I'd say the bragging rights are a massive deal. You know, you always want to prove you're the best university.
I mean, I played hockey for 3 years and we didn't ever lose.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was 10 years ago, and I still bang on about it.
See, that's how I feel about the Falcons at the moment. I don't. As far as I'm aware, we are undefeated against the Chargers. So
unfortunately, yeah. But
so that's our thing. We always. I feel like for us, it's always been a little bit more pressure trying to defend that. You know, like we turn up and we always try to. As when I was there, we was always told we're undefeated, which does put a little bit extra pressure on us. But like you said, you either turn up in that moment and you play your best, or you kind of go into yourself and you don't turn up. But that's when you find out which players are built for the playoffs and which players aren't. It's essentially a playoff game in the middle of the season. You couldn't ask for much more.
It doesn't get bigger than this. That is the thing.
That's cool. We're going to cut to a video now about American football.
My name is Rakim Trap Jackson. I represent Kent Falcons, American football team. I play wide receiver.
I'm Joseph Ganley. I'm Kent Falcons president this year, and I play DB.
I'm Jeffrey Benson. I am Kent Falcons overall captain, and I play wide receiver this year.
Okay, so tell us more about the club. How have you guys been performing this year?
So far, so good. 4-0. It's gotten progressively harder, and we're just looking forward to making sure that we can keep that going till the end of the year. It's been good, but we've still got a lot of work to do.
Are there any aspects of your team that you're particularly proud of? Is it like the pace, or some of the power behind it, or the training?
I would have to say our team is a very athletic team.
Yeah,
like we have guys who came from all different types of sports and everything, and when they get here, they listen. That's the most important thing. They throw all the other stuff out the way. They don't come here with a big head thinking that they're like the best player. And we all listen. We work together. And we're just an athletic team.
I'm happy with the commitment. Everyone's very committed. Like everyone comes to practice, and we all get work done, and that's really good. Anything. And one of the things that kind of appealed to me, which you kind of gets you off guard, is that it's very mental. Like it's very mental as well as the physical side of things. Like majority of it happens like in here, like knowing what you're doing, and it keeps you on your toes, and that's one of the things that I really like and keeps me going. So
what do you make of the Christchurch team this year?
What I have to say from my experience, first time playing with Christchurch, I have to say that they are very aggressive. They're very good with tackling. I had to give them that. As far as what I mean by that is basically like every time the ball is snapped, they're always going to get to the ball. You can see that even though they have a small team, they play well together. And they talk well with each other. Sorry, I'm trying to think of what else, but it's hard to think of right now.
In previous years, the last time we played Varsity was 2 years ago. Because last year, I'm not sure why it didn't happen, but Christchurch have always been sort of seen as this underdog team. They were in the league below, and they've come up and they've put the work in because they're looking really good for a Christchurch team.
They've been more disciplined this year, a lot. Like just from the beginning of the year and where they are now, like you can see that they are progressing, especially as they have come up in the league. So you'd expect them to be the underdogs of not just us, but the entire league. But they've proven themselves out there, so it's good.
So with Christchurch's progression in mind, has Varsity impacted training at all? Have you guys sort of built things up in build up to the event, or has it just been business as usual? I
mean, we go one game at a time.
Yeah, I agree.
So right now we're just thinking about our next game. When Varsity comes, we'll work on that. Everyone's really excited for it, regardless. Because that's when you get to take out some of your needed aggression. But yeah, one game at a time, really.
What would you say to a person that's not necessarily interested in sports to get them to go and see a Varsity match?
Do it. Definitely. I mean, because it's one of those things when you go, you might find yourself lost in like the whole atmosphere because you feed off of what other people are doing, and then when you see, you might find yourself caught up in it, and you might enjoy it, you might not. It's worth going. Experience it. Why not? Support your university.
So then, more specifically, why do you think people should come to your match?
It's going to be a really good game. Like, imagine Arsenal Tottenham, or usually there hasn't been this sort of belief that American football gets sort of too competitive amongst fans, but I can tell you it's going to be serious rivalry, and the fact that we've got 40, 50, 60 guys on the pitch means that chances are someone who knows someone who's playing in that match, and it's going to be an awesome atmosphere. Our varsity game is on February the 11th on this pitch here, the 3GF. It's at 5 o'clock in the evening. So yeah, we're going to be here for a couple of hours.
KTV is a society on the University of Kent, and basically what we do is that we give students the opportunity to make films or TV shows at this very building here. Our greatest resource is the people itself.
So you get a lot of advice for the future, you get a lot of contacts, and you get a good group of friends with which you can mess about with cameras.
I say one of the best things about KTV is the way it makes you feel like an important part of campus, because you start networking with all these different people.
But we have everything that you would need to make something look professional. It's just a question of learning how to do it, which you can do here.
I'd say my closest friends here at uni are from KTV.
All the excitement of not knowing what's going to happen each day, especially with news at the moment. Like, there's constantly just stuff going on campus, and we're just constantly running out cameras like, oh, can we film that?
But still, if you want to make TV, if you want to do editing, if you want to get into TV, this is your opportunity.
All these various types of filmmaking and television making opportunities, which I never had the opportunity to do so before I started university, or even when I've been doing my degree.
There's some great things in KTV. I'd say the resources.
One of my favourite resources is the editing suite.
We've got cameras, we've got people.
Jibs, we have lights.
We also have a social space for you to enjoy, just chill with your friends or like-minded individuals.
We have a massive studio, we have a ginormous editing suite.
Over the summer we've been rejigging our studio. It's been repainted, it's got new sofas, it's got a new backdrop. We're getting a green screen put in there soon.
And if you put a lot of work in, you can also log your hours on the Kent Uni website, and that will once again get you awarded for the amount of hours you put into KTV.
You could do so many things. You could write the news broadcast, you could edit it, present a game show, do the sound on a feature film about the Wombles. You could just come in and do whatever you want to do, because that is the beauty of KTV, in that even if you have a passing interest in anything related to moving picture with sound, there's something you can do here.
We're still having problems bringing you guys to match, but we're still going to have a bit more pre-game talk, so we'll continue where we left off. So what's been your worst and best moments in your career of American football?
I've had a few low lights. I think probably my worst was after a whole summer of preparation, starting my second year here for the Falcons. Just, I think, 2 weeks before the start of the season, I managed to break my arm in a drill. I took a helmet straight to my forearm, and that was that, really. It's tough as well, because on top of that, the team went 1-4 before I was able to come back from injury. So it was tough not being able to play whilst watching your team struggle. It's one of those things where you have to sort of stand on the sideline and try and encourage, but watching your team lose every week isn't easy, especially when there's nothing you can do about it.
It's standing on the sideline is the worst thing. That I think is, it doesn't matter how much of a sort of player you are. Is if you you could be out there and doing something for the team, it's devastating for yourself. And I had it for the Mavericks. I blew my knee out. And we were 2 weeks away from the playoffs, and I had to go spend 3 hours on a coach to then stand on the sideline and not be able to even step on the field. And it's that's definitely probably the low point of any season or career if you do get injured and you just can't play.
Yeah. How long did you guys wait after your injuries before you got back?
With my knee, that was sort of 6 weeks.
And you played after 6 weeks?
I got sort of blindsided in one game. We were playing in the Premiership, and I just didn't see the pit coming. And I cracked a couple of ribs and bruised a few more. So that was 2 weeks out. So just strapped it up and took some painkillers and carried on, really.
Yeah.
So
that's strength. That's powerful.
The football mentality, that is it.
Yeah.
It's what we used to have a coach. His motto was, are you injured or you hurt? Because if you're hurt, you can carry on playing.
That somehow proliferated through to us as well. We had exactly the same motto. Yeah, we sort of. Yeah, when I broke my arm, I think I was out for 3 months. I think just waiting for it to heal and rehab because we're playing defensive line. People may not know you spend a lot of time leaning on your arm, so leaning on your hand. So where the break was quite like in the middle of my arm, I couldn't rotate my arm for a lot of times. And not being able to rotate your arm playing any position in football was bad enough, especially when I spent all my time on my wrist. So I had to let it heal a little bit longer. But funny thing is, literally the training session before my first game back from that injury, I managed to crack two of the joints in my fingers. I got hit. Someone hit me in the back in a training session, my own teammate, funnily enough. And,
Were you angry at him? I was so mad.
I was angry, but you know, it's one of those things you get hyped up in training, and it just happens.
Yeah.
I managed to crack 2 finger joints the day before the game, so I was like, well, I'm not going to miss coming back from injury. You just tape them up.
Yeah.
You suffer through the pain and you play on,
That's
didn't
it.
you?
It's, you know, when you're out in the field and the whistle goes, you forget about that pain until the whistle goes again, and then it's.
Then the post game shower and all the rips and all the cuts,
Yeah,
everything starts to sting a little bit, but.
When you do get injured, do you ever think, oh my gosh, what if I never get to play again? Or you're just like, oh, I'll heal?
I mean, that was for me. I retired last. I missed last season. Retired because after 10 years of the game, it's not when you're young, and especially if you're going out to play at Varsity today, you wake up on Monday and hurt, and you'll think, well, in the afternoon you maybe do like a gym session. You'll be back in the gym on a Tuesday. In my last season, when I was playing for the Mavs, I'd get up on a Wednesday morning and still think, oh my God, I think I'm dying. And it gets to that point as you do start to get older where you love playing the sport, but you physically can't, and your body starts to let you down. And it's a sad moment where you go, like, that's it, I can't do it anymore. But that's just life. So.
Yeah, no, yeah. You know, yeah, like in terms of that, I don't think as a player when you get injured, you ever really think to the point where you're never going to play again. I think, like you said, it's stuck standing on the sideline. You hate the thought of watching a game from the sideline when you could be playing, especially when you have to travel 4 hours to play against UEA. You sat on a coach for 4 hours knowing full well you wasn't going to play beforehand. But you never really think to the point where I'm never going to play again. You always, like I said, your drive will make you want to play again.
I think that's the thing. You just think, oh, what am I going to do to get back from this? And it is more of, I think that's the mindset that I think if you go into the mindset of, oh, this could end my career, I think you've already lost yourself. Whereas you've got to think, if you think positive and think, right, I'm going to get this healed, and I'm going to take whatever I need to take to get it healed and done, and that's when it's the road to recovery, really.
Yeah.
And as long as you're positive about it, you get back. And
it's tough. It's one of those things you've got to try and, as crazy as it sounds, try and enjoy, because like you said, I had my arm in a cast, couldn't move it. So the moment I get my arm out of the cast and I can move it again, that's the step one. And I enjoy that step of being able to get the power back in my arm. And then you're like, okay, can I train? Yeah, you can do some non-contact training. You can run through some basic drills. And then you get to the point where you can put your kit on again. And then you start to get really excited to the point where you're like, you know what? I'm probably 2 or 3 weeks away from being able to play again. And then that's it. And then once you get back to that first game, you know, you look back on that injury, and I broke my arm, like you said, with your knee. You do get to a point where you get a little bit down on yourself, and you start to worry about if you're going to play again. But then, like you said, it's once you make that first play again back, and that first big play back, you know you're back, and you know it was worth the journey back. Do you know what I mean, all the pain you went through rehabbing, and all the, you obviously didn't want to suffer the injury, but you know, it turns you into a different player, I would say.
I'd say, yeah. I mean, if you can come back from a big injury and come back the same, if not a better player than you were before, you can then, it's always there in your mind that you know, it makes you stronger as a person and as a player. It's just, that's just your body. It's going to break at some point. So
wow, that's really inspiring, because like I do dance, and sometimes I get like injured in my ankles or like my knees and stuff, and I could be like, oh, I'm never going to do this again, or oh, I have to take this time out. But the fact that you just keep going. And going.
I think in terms of injuries, the most important thing that some players, maybe even myself and you, at some point or another in your career, will realise that you have to learn to let yourself be injured.
Yeah.
In terms of, I've been injured, and rush yourself back.
Now I feel like a sort of 40, 50-year-old guy, because in my early career I'd hurt something, and instead of going to the doctor, strapping it up, resting it properly, I'd be straight out on the field the next week, training or playing. And it is one of those things I think in your early career you don't ever do or think about. And as I got older and more broken, I started to take it into account. And I was like, well, actually, if I don't sit out this Thursday training or next Sunday training, I won't play again for another 2 weeks. Yeah. I think it's just experience, and you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, you start to then realise you have to take those times to heal.
Yeah. And what have been your best moments? Because we've talked about worst moments.
You know what? I think in that season we went 1-4. We managed to win 3 straight games, and we also won Varsity that year as well. So I think that was a real highlight, coming back from a broken arm, seeing the team 1-4, and feeling like I actually had an impact. I mean, it sounds a bit egotistical, but I feel like we got a few key players back. Not just myself, we got a few key players back on our defence, and we gave up, less. I think we had a shutout all season. We were giving up 36 points for the first 3 games, and then to come back and in the first game back, manage a shutout and then win 3-4 straight games. You know, it's a massive high point coming from a team that looked like it was struggling. And to be honest, the team was quite fractured. There was a lot of arguments in training, a lot of infighting. But to see us come back from being 1-4, struggling to them, it was only 4-4, but to make the playoffs from that position and end up with
almost impossible dream at that point.
You know what I mean?
I think it's the Chargers. We didn't have many players to start with, and we set it up because originally it was Falcons was a joint University of Kent and Christchurch team, and the league wanted to move away from that, so we formed the Chargers, and it was our first season, and we'd lost every single game by 1 point. And we went into our last game against Imperial, which is 8 years ago on Wednesday, and we absolutely trounced them. And I think it was probably one of the best sort of sporting moments of my career. Was just the team sort of the camaraderie that went with it, and the team spirit afterwards is unreal. And to go out and celebrate afterwards, it was certainly an experience.
Happy anniversary for that. We're going to cut to a video of American football now.
Okay, so my name is Michael. I'm the president of the basketball team here.
My name is Joshua Osai and I'm the team captain.
And I'm Daniel, I'm the vice president.
The club has been performing pretty well this year. We're currently second in the university league and second in the local league.
From when I came to this university, which was 4 years ago, it's grown a lot.
In basketball, there's always something happening on the court, whether it's on the offensive or the defensive end. There's either a point's going in, a block's happening, a steal, a dunk. So yeah, it's a lot of intensity and it's a very exciting game to watch.
I'd say it's fast-paced, fun. We try to put on a show every time we play. And I think we get the fans involved a lot. I think basketball is one of the few sports where, because of the fact that it is indoors and like the fans are so close to the court, I feel like there's a big sense of involvement.
We just had a rivalry going on between us and the CCU basketball team. Last year, we won by 1 point, so it's a really close and intense game. All the games that we play against each other, they're always intense. There's always some highlights, so it's a big event.
Like, it just brings out everyone's competitiveness, and I think it's all obviously in fun and stuff, but it's nice. It's different to the usual like social aspect of things at university.
We're just trying to prepare it, make sure we can play the best basketball we can play when it's game time, and put on a show for the fans that come to watch the game. And hopefully this year it won't be as close of a game.
Yeah, man, trying to get a blowout here, trying to win big.
Yeah, man, all I can say is for you to come down and watch it. The game speaks for itself.
Yeah,
you can ask anybody who came down from last year. I had people who came down, friends who never seen a basketball game in their life, and they told me they started wanting to come to all of our games. They had a really good time, and the atmosphere was crazy. The game, like I said, is a very enjoyable thing to watch, and I think you'd be mistaken of coming down to watch us.
Yeah, and I think if you're interested in sport in general, I think we've got the best athletes. So I think, yeah, if you're into just seeing athletes, I think basketball is the sport to come and watch.
So the game will happen at the 10th of February over at the Canterbury Christ Sports Centre, and it will be at 7 p.m.
We're Kent Dance. I'm Emily, I'm the president.
I'm Sarah, I'm the treasurer.
I'm Claudia and I'm competition coordinator. We have a huge dance society this year and a lot of competition members this year. We have about 75, 76 members, so we're punching high.
I think we're strong would be the word I'd use. We're very together. Obviously our competition teams, all the styles are separate, but as one big society, really supportive of each other, really strong performers.
I think it's a great release from university life, because we know that a lot of the times university work can be very stressful, and it's just a great release for everyone to just let go, have fun. And then with our society especially, we invite everyone from all different levels. So we tell people, even if you've had no training or if you've had the most training, we accept everyone. And we think that's what makes us a great society, how inclusive we try to be, and that how much fun we try to make it for everyone.
Varsity is very important to us and university life because I believe it brings out the rivalry in us. Having Christchurch just down the road, and they're a fantastic team, and we've seen them perform many times
for us, Varsity is a great opportunity to compare our strengths and weaknesses with them.
I think the competition is going to be very tight. Either way, we've seen them perform this year, they've seen us perform this year, and I do think we're both on top of our game at the moment, so it's going to be a good competition.
With our competition teams, a lot of them you can see that they're really pushing the teams, trying to get everything spot on so that we, good challenge for Christchurch. Yeah, but they're definitely upping the ante recently.
Our Varsity match is different from everyone else's, purely because our dance is a form of entertainment. So we are performing for the people who have come to watch us. We're not performing for ourselves. We actually want people there. We want everyone to enjoy and feel something with our dancing. So definitely come to our match. It's going to be amazing.
Our game is on the 8th of February. It's a Thursday. Doors open at 6:30, and then we're kicking off at 7 p.m. over in Elliott Hall.
We're really sorry. Due to the snow, we're having really, really bad technical difficulties. However, the score is 0-0. Do you guys have anything to comment on that?
Yeah, we were just talking about it. The VT was on this tough weather conditions at the moment. We've heard, so it's going to be a slog. It's going to come down to who can hold on to the football and make the least mistakes in this sort of weather.
That's definitely. I mean, Chargers have always struggled with squad size. So I think it could kind of come down to that whole battle of who has the most men or women as well, to throw at the game. And with a massive sort of 95-person squad, I think Kent could have the upper hand if it does. If it comes down to a sort of slugfest like it seems it's going to be. So
both teams will have to try and limit the turnovers. That will be the biggest thing. In these conditions, the ball becomes very slippery. You'll see potentially a lot of fumbles, a lot of turnovers, and that will be the key. It'll be who can limit that, who can maybe even be a big defensive play. Like I said, in this weather.
All it's going to take, I think, if it is like it's being 0-0 as it is now, and we're half an hour into the game, it could just be one score, and that's all you need to win it. So special teams could be massive now. I mean, the wind and the snow apparently that's coming in sideways. If special teams, all you need is one good special teams play. That's to break the deadlock, and could be It's
going to be tough for punters actually. Punters are going to have to be really focused. Long snappers, like I said, on special teams, the punter's going to have to make sure they can get a decent kick on it and field position might actually win this game today.
Yeah. So.
Once again, we are so sorry. If you do want updates on the game, you can check out Inquire and CSR's Twitter. And this has been KTV. I've been Oggo.
I've been Dan Shaggy Wheel.
I've been Sonny Cohen.
And this has been KTV Sport. Thank you.